What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs, and yet another familiar face is back in Kansas City. We'll talk about it right after this. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back into another video on my channel. I feel like I've done that same intro 1,000 times, that another familiar face is back in Kansas City. We know the Kansas City Chiefs love their guys, and that's the case yet again, as KCSN is reporting that the Chiefs are signing running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire to the practice squad per Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who spent the first 5 or so years of his career in Kansas City, is signing back with the Kansas City Chiefs on the practice squad after a short stint with the New Orleans Saints. And I debated whether or not I should actually make a video about this, because the signing isn't all that significant. It's a practice squad spot, but it continues a theme that I've seen with the Chiefs that is just really starting to get annoying with me. And it's the constant reunion with the old former rotation players, the failed draft pick, or whoever it may be, the same spent players coming back to Kansas City over and over and over again, even though they're not good and they have no spot in the NFL, if not with the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's also the case with CEH. Now, I said the same sentiment in the Derek Nottie video that I made. Like, Derek Nottie doesn't have a spot in the NFL unless the Chiefs trade for him. He was going to get cut by the Jets. And I had people saying, Josh, it's just a depth trade or depth signing. Like, who cares? And I know what the response is going to be to this video as well. Josh, it's just a practice squad signing. Who cares? And I get it. I understand what these people are trying to say, but it annoys me because it's not even just that this is a practice squad signing, but it's something, again, that the Chiefs have done before. And it's the relying on, it's the absolute refusal to just let go of bad football players. CEH is a bad football player. CEH does not have a spot in the NFL. If it weren't for the Kansas City Chiefs, he would not be on an NFL roster. And I just think there's too many of those guys that we've seen over the years that would not have a spot in the NFL if not for the Kansas City Chiefs carrying them along for the ride. And CEH is another. I mean, he's someone that's spent in the NFL. We've seen him. He's not good. The Chiefs cut him last year in the middle of last season. They said, hey, you're not good enough. Like, we're done with this experience. You're gone. And they're deciding to bring him back again for what? Over a player with upside? And I'll get into that more in a minute, but I want to remind people that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was with the New Orleans Saints, got cut from the New Orleans Saints after training camp and preseason. And this is a guy who went to a team in New Orleans that is notorious for signing former LSU Tigers just to get butts and seats at the Dome. And even they said, nah, CEH isn't good enough. We don't need him here. This isn't it. And I think that says a lot. And I've seen so much conversation from people, Chiefs media, saying, you know, it's amazing how the Chiefs have been able to get contributions out of guys that don't seem to work anywhere else. And I think it's not about the player. It's not even that the Chiefs are able to get anything out of them. It's that these are bad football players, but because the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes and they're a great team, it just covers up the fact that a lot of these guys just simply aren't good football players. You know, guys like MVS, guys like Derek Nottie, who they traded for, who was going to get cut anyway, CEH, who, again, wouldn't have a spot in the NFL. And it's just, I'm just done with the whole thing. I'm over the CEH experience, and I don't even think he deserves a practice squad spot. Hell, I think Carson Steele, who was just released, is worth more of a practice squad spot than CEH. CEH gives you nothing. He provides nothing. And people are going to say, oh, locker room vibes, or, you know, not a bad practice squad signing. I don't care. Give that spot to someone that at least has upside, that in an emergency can actually play. Oh, CEH can play in an emergency. Okay, he can technically, but, like, he's not good. I mean, Carson Steele at least averaged 4 yards per carry last year, albeit he had fumble problems. Blake Martinez, who was released by the Seahawks, that a lot of Chiefs fans liked during the draft process, like, even that makes more sense than CEH because there's upside. There's a world in which he actually ends up being a good player. We've seen what CEH can do. He's maxed out. He's spent. CEH is maxed out as a player. And I think the practice squad, those spots are reserved for guys that, are eventually trying to make an NFL roster, that have upside, that have intrigue, a reason to stick around. CEH has no reason to be sticking around in Kansas City still. And this just continues a trend that I've been tired of seeing with the Kansas City Chiefs. And another thing I'll say about this as well is when people say, it doesn't matter, because I've had this argument many times with people, but when people use the reasoning, oh, it doesn't matter because this player, is so far down the depth chart, he'll never see the field, or in this case, CEH practice squad, like he's probably not going to see the field. Okay, but he could. And a lot of times these guys do end up seeing the field. And I want the guys seeing the field to actually be good, not someone that you keep around just for locker room vibes. I'm done with that rationale for keeping around bad football players. And, I had this argument earlier with Arrowhead Live, prominent account on Chiefs Twitter. And he's another one of those saying, it doesn't matter if it's just a practice squad signing. This is a good practice squad signing because CEH can play in an emergency. And he can, but he's not good. That's the whole point of this, is that when you have someone that's in your organization, you expect them to be able to play at a moment's notice, no matter where they are on the depth chart. I think every single player that's on the Chiefs 53-man roster, you got to be on that roster for a reason, because you can play, you can get thrown into action at any moment. And I think, the Chiefs just need to widen their net a little bit more when it comes to filling holes on this roster. This doesn't apply so much to the CEH signing because, again, practice squad, I get it. I feel like I have to reiterate that 100 times, but I just think the Chiefs should widen their net a little bit more when it comes to filling needs on this team, instead of bringing back the same Derek Nottie, CEHs, Dan Sorensens, whoever it is. Instead of bringing those guys back every single time you need depth somewhere, go and get someone who you haven't seen in this situation before, who does have talent, who does have upside. I've used that word 100 times, but I mean, it applies here very well, because CEH has no upside. We've seen what he can do. He's not getting any better at this point in his career. He has no explosiveness. This is a Chiefs running back room that was one of the worst in the NFL last year, and there was no explosiveness at that position. CEH doesn't help your explosiveness problem, no matter how much of the offense he knows. He does not help. And this is just a theme I'm tired of seeing with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I wanted to go on a rant about it after seeing it, because I'm done with the whole thing, and I know a lot of other Chiefs fans are as well. We're tired of this song and dance of bringing back the same maxed out veterans who give you nothing at this point. And that's why they're not sticking around in the NFL. And I don't want them to continue getting carried by the Chiefs organization. So those are my thoughts on the Chiefs bringing back CEH on the practice squad. I'm done with it. Are you guys too? Definitely want to hear from you down in the comments below. I already know what some of the response is going to be, but hey, this is my channel. I'm going to talk about what I want. I'm going to say what's on my mind, and that's what's on my mind right now. So with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Some more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com for more. And last but not least, follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.